welcome to Under Construction with LaRhonda Marie. I am LaRhonda Marie, and I am excited about my guest today. We had some hiccups, but we got it together, and so sorry for the delay. And it's normally 7 o'clock. I appreciate you guys tuning in at 8 o'clock, and we're gonna just jump right into it, because it's Thursday. And we're gonna jump right into it. Right before we do that, though, I have to take care of some housekeeping items. I collaborate with Swag Her magazine, and so if you are a boss woman, if you are an author, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a coach, a life coach, if you're a counselor, if you need to find a way to expand your visibility in your brand, Swag Her magazine is definitely a place. I posted something today about the specials that we have. I believe we have like a $200 special going on right now. But jog on over to swaghermagazine.com. Check out the different packages that we have, and definitely the deal that we have going on right now. So definitely do that. I'm gonna give you some more information on Swag Her, and I'll be right back.
Swag Her magazine is an empowerment and lifestyle publication for Black women who like to be real with themselves and in business. The magazine also offers public relations services and visibility coaching for Black women-led businesses, coaches, authors, and girl bosses so that they receive more exposure and grow their brands. To learn more about Swag Her magazine, please visit www.swagher.net. That's www.swagher.net. Check our swag. We're more than a mag.
I love that. And so if you are looking for some packages, definitely just give us a try. Definitely they like I said, they will increase your visibility, give you just different ways to make your brand just kind of stand out. Basically, they will either help develop it or help expand on what you are already doing. All right. So Swag Her magazine, guys. So thank you as always for joining the show. I have a special guest. She's ending out Women's History Month. I found her on Instagram. As I always do, I'm always searching for the people that are doing different things within their community. It's Women's History Month. So I did want to make just show different females that are doing great things within their community, within their own home. Okay. And so none other than Tiffaney Whyte is who I have coming, and I'm going to have her introduce herself. I'm going to bring her on. Give me thumbs up if you're ready, Miss Tiffaney. She gave me thumbs up. We're about to bring her on. Hello.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to meet you too. My mom's an educator. So of course I have a love for educators. When I was thinking about Women's History Month, I wanted to hit certain professional women, certain types of professional women that were doing different things. And your content just spoke to me, definitely because of how your books, we'll get all into that. First, we'll get all into that. Let me go ahead and let you introduce yourself, and then we'll move forward. Go ahead. Tell the people who you are.
Hi, guys. My name is Tiffany. I am an educator. I am a mom. I have 2 young adult children. I reside in Georgia, but I am from Brooklyn, New York. Okay, big up to Brooklyn. I have been an educator for about maybe 10 years. Before that, I was in the field of social services. I did that for about 13 years. I am an entrepreneur. I have a line of teacher tees. I have one on today. It has different inspirational, motivational, empowerment sayings for teachers. And then I have stickers and buttons that teachers can wear. I have tote bags. I have a long line of accessories for teachers. But with that, I am an author. I wrote my first book is called A Guide to Hustle. It's all about starting and empowering your teacher business. And then my 2 most recent books are children's books. One is titled Nicole in the 5th Grade Desk, and the next one is titled Because I See You, I See Me. And that's me in a nutshell.
All right, and that's a lot. You're doing a lot. First of all, I love the tees. Like I love the
Thank you.
t-shirts. I was like, I need to grab my mom a couple of those. Of course, she's a retired teacher now, but I just love the graphics. I love the style of. I just love them. The different
Thank you.
graphics that
Thank you.
you
Thank you.
have. So I just checked that out today, and I was like, okay, so yeah, I'm gonna be getting a couple of those because
Thank
they're
you. Thank
really
you. Thank
nice.
you.
Guys, I have that information at the bottom of my screen. So her website is where you can purchase all of her merchandise, as well as her book. That includes the books, but the books are also you can purchase them on Amazon, correct?
Yes, you can purchase them on Amazon.
All right, so we're gonna just start just at the beginning of. You said you're from Brooklyn. How did you get to Atlanta?
It's a short but long story. So my daughter wanted to go to school and she wanted to go to college in Atlanta. And I was going through like some life changes or whatever. And I was like, well, I mean, we can move. So
Hmm.
I just moved because I didn't want to be too far away from her. So I was like, okay, well then I guess we're moving to Atlanta. And then we moved. She was in the 11th grade when we moved to Atlanta. And she went to college, she graduated, and my son, he at that time he was in I think 5th grade, and he's basically been here, and he didn't want to leave. So, yeah, that's my story. And I'm sticking with it.
Your kids moved you to
Yeah,
Atlanta.
to Atlanta. Yes,
Well, it's actually one of the best places to be with what you're doing, as far as especially when you're an entrepreneur. Atlanta does a great job accepting the Black businesses. So,
it
uh,
definitely does.
yeah. So I mean, so she moved you in the right direction. So kudos to baby girl.
Kudos to baby girl.
Okay, so now, so you said you're working with the children's services, or
Yes, with children's
okay,
services.
and then you moved to So when did you make the transition to education? How did that happen?
So I've always wanted to be a teacher, right? That when when you was in kindergarten and you asked students what they want to be, I said I want to be an educator. I wanted to be a teacher all my life. That was my goal. I was going to be a teacher. In my yearbook, it says future goal teacher. That was my life. And then I went to college. I had my daughter pretty young, and then I went to college, and then things changed, and I was like, oh my god, do I want to be a teacher? I just looked. As soon as I started college, they had like, how they tell you like, what classes you have to take, what tests you have to take, and it gave me anxiety, the list of tests that I had to take, and I was like, I don't want to take those tests. I don't want to be a teacher no longer. And then my sister was a social worker, so I was like, you have to take any tests? And she was like, no, I have to. I was like, well, that's what I'm doing too. And then I needed a job. I had my daughter. I needed a job, and I just went right in that field, and I stayed there for about maybe 13 years, probably. And then I was like, I don't really like this. I want to be a teacher. That's what I always wanted to be. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to what I really wanted to be. So, and that was be a teacher.
And you went back.
I went back.
Hey, Robert, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it because we're getting started late. Well, that's awesome though. So you went back to school as an adult student.
Yes.
Basically, I did the same thing, so I totally get it. Because I feel like though when you go back as an adult, school is so different from when you were younger. Like you are so focused. Like you so focused on graduating that you're gonna do. Was that your experience too? Like
it was because my undergrad. I mean, if I made out. I mean, dang, this live, gosh. If I made out with a C, that was a great grade, okay? But my grad, I was on it. I was like, what did I get? I need an A, all A. I was like on my grades, but undergrad, I was like, whatever.
I think I agree. I think you're more focused. That's correct. I think that's Robert says that. I agree. I think that we have a goal in mind. We're thinking about our kids now. Like for me, when I was younger, I wasn't thinking about, the big picture. But when we are older and we're going back to school, we're thinking about that big picture. Like, okay, security, taking care of my household. So I definitely understand that. And kudos to you, because it's hard being a single mom of two kids going back to school, and finishing. So I'm in that same boat. So I totally get it. So how long have you been teaching?
I've been teaching since 2014.
2014.
Mhm.
And has education, I mean, from 2014 to now, don't you think education has totally changed?
Totally changed. The content has changed. The students have changed. The behaviors have changed. Just environmental factors changed. Students changed. Adults changed everything in the education system. Mm-hmm.
And we can't, and I'm not blaming it all on COVID, but I do know, like right now with the changes that we're dealing with, it has a lot to do with COVID. Just the mentality of the students as well as the mentality of the teachers. Things have changed. How has it been going back into the classroom and, trying to normalize our new normal?
So I am gonna say this. I hated being at home during COVID and teaching. I hated it a lot. I am a kind of like hands-on kind of person. I need to see people. I need to talk to them. I need to do all of those things. So being at home was not a pleasure for me at all. So in Georgia, in the school I'm at, what they did that first semester, we was out of school, but the second semester we had to come back into the building, and we taught from the building without the students. I think I probably was the only teacher who was like jumping up for joy, because I was like, I can get out of the house, I can see clothes, I can see people, I can talk, I can do whatever. And I was like, I love this. And they was like, Tiffany, calm down. I'm like, no, this is what I want to do. So even though I was fearful for my safety, I just took it as, you know what, I'm gonna pray every day, and I'm gonna ask God for the strength, the safety to keep me and my family safe, and I'm just gonna do what I have to do. So I enjoy having the students back in the classroom. I really enjoyed it a lot.
And we parents appreciate you teachers that want to be there, because that at home, and I was doing it part-time, and so for those parents that were doing it every single day, that had to be hard. So I appreciate, I have an appreciation for teachers anyway, because like I said, my mom's an educator, but that nowadays, now that you're in the classroom, like you, it's so different. Like I said, the attitudes are different. Like
attitudes are extremely
as
different.
a parent of a student, I can tell the difference in the attitude of the teachers that I deal with, and I can definitely tell the attitude of my children that have changed. Those that have changed. What do you do to keep the kids engaged and keep that? I want to be at school. I want to, because they got accustomed to being at home and doing things one way. But it is definitely it's definitely a good thing for us to all come together and congregate and be in class together.
So one thing I must say is that I teach fifth grade, right? And I love teaching fifth grade. That's like my sweet spot. I love fifth grade because of the fact that they're not, they're still kids, but they still want to be kind of treated like with they have that kind of middle school vibe, but you can kind of like, play with them in the way that they like to be played with, they'll tell you all the slang, and it's cool if you use it correctly. That type of thing to keep them engaged, just figuring out where they are and just staying in that playing
meeting
field.
them at their level. I've seen a lot of your different posts, and that's why I was like, oh, I like her. She kind of meets the kids where they are, and that makes you more approachable. I mean, it makes kids trust you a little bit more. I have Robert has some questions for you.
He does. I see the questions.
So he did say something about, for me, it was self-improvement. He's talking about college. I have a teacher friend who tells me that they are fed up with teaching. Do you hear that a lot now?
Oh, yes. You're hearing it more often now than before. And I think it's because of COVID. I think it's because people realize that they can do other things besides just teach in the classroom. they can inspire children in different ways other than teaching them. Or the systems of teaching have become so, what can I say, disheartening that you don't want to teach any longer. So yeah, I hear that a lot. I'm gonna be honest with you. I probably say that sometimes too, like, I don't feel like teaching no more. You know what I'm saying? It's just reality, you know?
It is. Everybody gets frustrated on the job, and so I can definitely understand that. We just had something in Oklahoma that came across the news where it's so many resignations that are happening. Not necessarily they're just quitting and walking out, but because they're going ahead and retiring, they are trying to get out of there. And it used to be just about the pay, but now, I mean, just this week we had another incident in the classroom. How do you? I mean, I know your age group is elementary. You're elementary.
Yes.
So does that affect the students when things like that happen and they're in elementary? Are they coming back to school saying anything about what has happened in the world? Like what happened in Nashville. Do they come back and ask any questions about that?
You know what? It's a very touchy situation, right? I have not had any of my students say anything about what happened in Nashville. And sometimes I feel like most of the time, children, if it's not something that affects them and like truly affects them, like maybe in their state or in their city or down the street from them, they do not know unless someone tells them and makes them aware of what's going on.
How do you deal? This is the question from Robert. How do you deal with the threat of violence?
That's so interesting. So I've had before students threaten me with violence before, and it's always a touchy situation, right? Because you want to know, why is that student threatening an adult, right? And then why are they threatening their teacher? Like, what is going on that could possibly have a child threaten an adult, right? I think what I did was tell administration. I mean, at that point, that's the only thing you can do. It's not that much for teachers that we can do in the classroom, especially if a student, I'm talking about if a student threatens you with violence, because you are going to teach that student, so you are going to have to find a way to get over it,
coexist.
Yeah, or exist with that child and still in your classroom, even though they threatened you or whatever the case may be.
But it's something more than just that, it's something more than that. But nowadays, with these young people, sometimes we are fearful to take a step because you just don't know how they're going to react to anything. I used to be a person that if I saw a kid acting the fool in, the grocery store, I'm going to look at them and say something to them so they won't be disrespecting their mom. I won't hardly jump in today because you get a different, you know what I'm saying? You get a different, you'll get a different result a lot of times. And so a lot of times we don't know. We want to step in, but you're like, oh my God.
I don't know what's going on.
You don't know. You're right. So, Robert, I see your question. I have that question for her later, and so we'll get back to that. We're going to discuss Diavion Blue. I hope I'm saying the innovations.
I did 2 live interviews this week, and you are probably the only person who said it correctly on the
All right. That's what's up. I'm from the right part of town. Okay. Yes. Tell us about that, because when we're talking about young people, that's pretty much your vision behind that. Go ahead and tell us about that.
Tell us about Diavion Blue Innovations.
Yes.
Okay, so Diavion Blue Innovations is my brand. It's my teacher brand, and the name came from my daughter. So her middle name is Diavion. Blue is my favorite color, and I always want to feel like I want to innovate. I always want to come up with innovative ways to educate children and adults. So that's how the name Diavion Blue Innovations came up.
Gotcha. And what does that mean? What is DI Beyond Blue? What does it do for the community?
So for the community of teachers, the teacher community, I want to inspire educators. I want to inspire, I want to motivate you to want to love your job, want to feel joy when you walk into the classroom or into the building of your job. The reason why how my brand started is I had a year that was a very trying year. And I was questioning, like, do I really want to teach? Because I had like my integrity question, my morals question, my teaching question. It was really bad. And I was like, I don't know if I want to teach if it's going to be like this. And then I was like, but how am I going to pay the bills? So I was like, I got to think about something. And I was like, well, teaching is all I want to do. So I'm like, is it just that school, that environment? And then I was like, oh, okay. I just prayed. I slept on it. And when I woke up in the morning, I was like, you know what? I love t-shirts. I love graphic tees. You can always find me in the graphic tee. And I was like, you know what? My first design was #teach. And I was like, I'm going to put that on a t-shirt. I'm going to wear it because I need to feel empowered about my job. I need to love it again. And once I put on that t-shirt and I just put it in all different fashionable ways, I started to care. I started to be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is something that I can do. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to keep going. And then I did. And it helped me feel better about myself and feel better about the profession that I chose.
Yeah, the t-shirts are clean. Like, I love the designs. They just pop out at you. Guys, go to her website and take a look. I was like, is this only for teachers? Because I kind of want it. Was like
I have like 2 or 3 designs that's not geared toward teachers, right? Because my sisters are not teachers, right? One of them is not a teacher and the other one is. So she was like, can you get something that's not teacher related? And I'm like, okay, I will.
Robert got to get this question. He said,
he
approximately, you said 185 days out the year. Do you think the teachers get paid well for the amount of time they work?
Okay, so I'm gonna answer that question on my point of view, right?
Okay.
I feel like my salary, I love my salary. I have a great salary. I have no complaints. It can be better, but for right now, I have no complaints on it. And the reason for that is, like I said, I was in social services for many, many years, and I didn't even make a fraction of what I make now. And I was doing actually more work than what I'm doing now, right? Because I would have to do home visits and I would have to do removals and courts. So for me, I'm gonna say I could get more money, of course. We all want more money, but my salary, what I'm making at the time is good for me and my family.
Yeah, I was raised by an educator, and I mean, I never understood it myself, but what I can say is this, is there's just not enough money for what y'all do for our kids. I just think about those teachers that, poured into me and that made a difference in my life. And I can't say that about every pastor or every, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I know I can't say that about every boss that I've had but I know that in elementary, in middle school, in high school, there was one or two teachers that poured into me a little bit more. And had that not happened, a lot of us would not have the drive that we have or think the way we did if we didn't have those different teachers. So I agree. They get paid a good amount of money for the time that they work, but why not pay them more when you have?
Why not? Who doesn't want more money? But I am going to say the money that I'm making I get paid pretty well. And I don't have to work in the summertime.
I don't have to work in the summertime or spring break. Or do y'all still get vacation days?
Yes, we get 10 vacation days, and I take them every year. Okay, I never used to take them, but I take them every year. And in the summertime, my school, we still get paid. My county, we still get paid in the summertime. So my salary is good.
You good?
I'm good over here.
So we're gonna move over to your different, because you have a couple of different books.
Oh, Robert just asked that question. He was like, I was going to ask, if you don't work in the summertime, do you supplement your income? No, I still get paid in the summertime.
Oh.
So if you choose to supplement, if you choose to make extra income, you can. So me, I work summer school.
Wow.
So I'll get my regular salary and I get paid summer school salary. So
in addition to your regular.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you could.
Yes. So I'm good. I'm good over here.
You're good. She say no complaints, ma'am, no complaints, sir. Okay. So Nicole in the 5th grade desk. What made you write this book?
So this book came basically from COVID, right? Okay. My niece was in 5th grade. I have the book here. So it's Nicole.
Thank you. I was hoping you was going to do that. Thank you. So guys, you can purchase it on Amazon or at her website. I have it scrolling at the bottom of your screen. Go ahead.
Thank you. So this is Nicole. Nicole is my niece. Her name is Caitlin. And she was in the 5th grade last year. And she knew that I was a 5th grade teacher. So she would ask me, she was so scared about going to 5th grade because she was going to be going in person. So she was so scared about going to 5th grade, and she would ask me questions about 5th grade. I'm like, 5th grade is an amazing grade. You're like the last grade of the school sometimes. Mm-hmm. And there's so many amazing things to do in 5th grade. I love 5th grade. So I was writing down things that were amazing that we did that year, especially last year, because last year we came back full time into the school building. So we did some amazing things with the students last year that I wrote down because they was memorable, and the students loved it, and she loved it, and I wrote it down, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to turn this into a book. And I sat in the backyard and I just started writing, started sketching, started drawing. Art was my major. I wanted to be an art teacher. So art was my major. So I started sketching, and I'm like, this is how I want it to be. And then it just came about just like that.
Wow. That's funny that you said illustration. So you did the illustration too?
I didn't do the illustration. Oh. Even though art is my major and I love to draw, I have not drawn in a long time, right? So if I had like practice and kept practicing, I could do the illustration, but I didn't do the illustration. I just started off with the sketches and I told them exactly how.
But how close did the illustrator come to your idea in your head?
Very close.
Okay, because the books, a lot like the illustrations jump out at you, like the colors, okay. So I was like, this. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
When did you start writing? Well, you just told me that. Look at the detail. It looks simple but hard. You know what I'm saying?
So I took actually like the pictures. So these are actual pictures of my classroom. This book, I try to make the books as realistic to me as possible. So these are actual pictures of how my classroom looks like even today. And then this is actually a picture of my niece with this. She wore the same outfit, everything here, everything was so. I try to make everything realistic for like what I'm doing right now. So this is actually, I have this, everything here is factual. Like this is exactly how, if you come in my classroom, you were like, is this Nicole's room? Like this is me on the first day of school. Everything, you know. So
wait a minute, did you have a t-shirt on, one of your t-shirts? On the illustration. See, look at you.
That's the t-shirt that I wear every year on the first day of school. And I read this book and it says, so the t-shirt says, hooray, it's the first day of school. So so everything is like realistic. Yes.
Did you self-publish or did you go through a publishing company?
I self-published.
Wow. Okay. Did you find that process was hard as far as
self-publishing is hard? It's easy and hard at the same time, if that makes sense.
Explain.
So so the easy part is that once you go through everything, you're done, right? You have nothing else to do, right? But the hard part is you have to be I'm not the editor. I have an editor that I work with. So you have to be, in the initial stage, you have to be the editor. You have to okay the illustrations. You have to okay the format. You have to okay the colors, the picture, the layout of the book. You have to do all of that.
Okay.
Where if you had a self-publishing, if you had a company you're working with, they would do all of that. You just tell them basically what you want. But like, and then like when you have to put it through Amazon, they can reject it because maybe you didn't put the tab correctly, or maybe you didn't put the outline correctly, or maybe you didn't put the format of the pages or the color, or they will reject it for any little thing. And you have to keep going back, keep revising to make sure that it's okay. Gotcha. And that's the hardest part, because you would think that you're done, and then here comes Amazon like, no, sorry, the tab on page 14 is incorrect. And you're like, it's the same tab from all of them. What are you saying? Or the picture or the bleed, you have to make sure the bleed is 0.1.25 correct. And one page might have a different bleed than the other pages. So you have to navigate through all of that with something. And then with publishing as well, you have to do the marketing yourself.
Right.
You want your book to do well, you have to market well. And if you want to reach those outlets that you probably can't reach, you have to market 24/7 in all avenues that you have to do. When you publish with a publishing company, they do all of that. You don't have to do any of that, but just show up. But if you want to do book reading, book signing, social media, email marketing, you have to know that you have to do all of that.
Wow. So the guys, what she's saying is, the work doesn't end after you write the book. It's really just beginning. If you're doing the self-publishing route. Your recent book, Because I See You, I See Me. Okay, let me just pause right there. Yes, thank you. But me and my mom was having a conversation like maybe 2 or 3 days before I came across you. And this was the title of it. We were literally talking about Black educators needing more Black men. And so this, your most recent book, what does that mean to you? Like, what does that title mean to you?
Okay, so my experience in education, I'm from Brooklyn, very diverse. And my experience is that from pre-K to 8th grade, I had Black educators. Every student, every teacher was a Black educator. And I didn't understand until I got older, until now, that how important that was. Right. It transformed me to the person I am today. Right. And I was like, dang. And because of a lot of educators leaving the field, I was like, a lot of Black educators leaving the field. I was like, dang, we need more Black educators. We need to be able to retain our Black educators, because half of the students in education are Black, but they are not being taught by someone that looks like them. Right. So I just wanted to show my love for my school, how I was taught, and just show teachers like, this is your why. This is why you need to stay in the field, because you have these students that looks up to you because you look like them, because you talk like them, because you wear your hair like their mom wear their hair, all of those things. And that's why I wanted to write this book.
Yeah, and they can get it. They get our kids a lot better than everyone else. And so I love to walk into school and see a Black man teacher, because I personally only had like a couple, and I don't think I had any during my elementary years, and so I think I read an article about that a couple of weeks ago about Black men being in education and how much we need more, and so just so the guys can have somebody, like you said, just that looks like them, that they can relate to, that they can probably, if we just had a little bit more of that, I feel like we would be able to kind of control the school a little bit better, just a little bit better. Robert, your question about, he says, how do you feel about, now she's in Atlanta, so this question is for me probably, because I'm in Oklahoma City with him. How do you feel about John Marshall being next to police department, and what do you think that says psychology, you know the word, to the kids to go there? I always thought that was weird. I'm gonna say that. and plus, especially with it being a predominantly Black school, that the police department. But I also found it to be. I thought it was going to be a safe. That kids would be too scared to do anything, and they're right next door to the police station. But I don't know how it affects it. To be honest with you, I don't. I've not had a student that went there that said anything to me about how they feel psychologically about that. I personally, when I was a student, that probably wouldn't have bothered me, but I don't live in 2023. And so I don't know. What do you think? We have a police station that's right next to our predominantly Black high school. Do you think that it's a high school, middle school and high school, actually?
I think that would affect the students there because just I think it will affect them mostly their well-being, like walking into the building every day and seeing like a police department right next door to them will cause them to be fearful, and not fearful like, oh, something's gonna fearful that something, if they do something, they may get locked up, because there is that police precinct right next door. I'll be fearful if a police precinct was next door to my school. I probably wouldn't want to work there.
Wow.
I probably have like a negative connotation driving up to the school. Like,
wow,
I'm working next to a police
station. It is. Like, that's especially being he said, I think that's true, especially being that John Marshall is predominantly, with it being a predominantly Black school in Oklahoma City Police Department area, which is crazy because it's like totally sitting in a totally different schools district. But that's a good question, Robert. That definitely is a good question. But back on your book, your characters in, and I'm talking about Because I See You, I See Me. Actually, both of them, though. Your characters in your books are pretty fashionable. How do you incorporate colors and style into your work environment?
So I am a pretty fashionable person. I got pink and yellow nails. I got bracelets that makes a lot of noise in the hallway. Everybody can hear me coming before they see me. I have a very loud voice. So I'm pretty fashionable. So I try to make sure, like I try to make sure that when you read this book, you can feel me. You can be like, Tiffany wrote this book. I'm quite sure she wrote this book because this sounds like her. The pictures look like her. And then and Because I See You, what I did was I have a lot of teacher friends. Mm-hmm. So I incorporated my teacher friends, their style into the book. So some of the teachers in the book are actual friends of mine. Like this, like she's a friend of mine. Mm-hmm. And then she's a friend of mine. And this is one of my favorite pages. He's a friend of mine. And
he look good.
Yeah, he looked good, right?
Tell him I said hi.
And then I just tried to make sure that the characters in the book looks like, what the children see. And it's so funny because I read this book, well, my co-teacher, who's a male, he read this book for the first time this week to my classroom. And after he read the book, the kids was like, Miss Pye, could you put me in your next book? I got you.
I got you.
I'm gonna put me in. I want to be one of the kids in the next book. I was like, I got you. Don't worry, I got you. So that
was gonna be another question. So you have some more books in your head coming.
I do actually. So I do have another book that's coming out. It's so funny you actually know. I have not even shared this with anybody, but I do have another book that's coming out, and it's kind of like a piggyback on Nicole and the fifth grade test. So it's not giving out everything, but it's going to be another character and another object in the school building. Gotcha. And it's going to come out on the year anniversary of this book. So this book came out July 2022. Wow, yeah, July 2022. Mm-hmm. So July 2023, I'm going to come out with another one most similar to this.
That's awesome. What books do the children you teach respond to?
So fifth grade is a very different grade, right? Mm-hmm. So you have the books have to captivate their soul, right? The kind of books that we kind of respond to them is I think anything you read to them, once you put some drama in it and some action in it, they kind of just they love it, right? Because in fifth grade, most of the time they're not getting read alouds, right? Because they're like, oh, they're too big for that. So if you bring a read aloud to them, they excited because they like, oh my God, you're reading a book to us. So once you just put any kind of like drama inside of the read aloud, they love it, and they love the illustrations. They love the illustrations.
Well, I really, really, really appreciate you coming and just speaking and giving your thoughts on education, letting us know about your merchandise and your books. You're doing a great thing. Like, thank you for what you're doing. I really appreciate it for our Black kids. They deserve a teacher like you. I have one last little portion, little segment. I do a little question and answer part. You're in Atlanta and I'm in Oklahoma. I want to see if we're reading the same stories.
Okay. I'm scared.
So when I mention a book, you say yes, you've heard of it, or no, you haven't heard of it.
Okay.
It should be in your, in your school.
I hope so.
Grade. Okay, so let me get my book. So this is this. I forgot to say this, guys. We are doing this is called the no judgment zone. So no matter how you answer this, no one is judging you today. But we may judge you tomorrow. So don't.
I'm scared. I'm so scared now.
Don't be. These are just books. You good? Okay. Where the red fern grows. Yes or no? Have you heard of that?
No.
18 Pine Street series by Walter Dean Myers.
No.
What y'all reading out there? Sideways Stories from Wayside School.
No.
Where the Wild Things Are.
Of course I know that one.
Yeah. I wish I had a ding, 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 ding. Girl, the Bernstein Bears.
I know that one.
Okay. I was about to say Fly Girl by Omar Tyree.
I know that one.
He was on the show a couple of months back. Just Me and My Mom book by Mercer Mayer.
I want to say I heard of that one.
Okay. Oh my God, I hope you've heard of this because this used to be my stuff back in elementary. The Boxcar Children.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Angus thought he was big.
No.
Last one. Next Semester by Cecil Cross.
No.
I'm gonna give you a list of books when I text you. I'm gonna need you to start reading.
Please listen. I was reading, I was looking at your shows and I'm like, Dad, when she asks about the reading, I'm like, I can't say this because I'm a teacher, but I was like, growing up, I hated reading. Just the thought of it, I was like, oh my God, this is the worst subject ever, right? And I used to be like, just give me a magazine so I can look at the fashion and look at the pictures, and then that's it. I just cut it out, look at the fashion, look at the pictures, and that's it. And then now as an adult, I have ELA is my favorite. Writing is my favorite. Reading is my favorite subject to teach. But I'm like, so when I tell the kids, they be like, Miss White, do you like reading? And I'm like, yeah, I like it so much. I'm like, I love it so much. And then last year I co-taught with my co-teacher. She loved reading. So I was like, since you love reading, you teach reading, I'll teach ELA because I love ELA. Okay.
Here's Robert Tyler. He helping you out. He said, I like reading, but I have very few books concerning
education. Yes, thank you.
These are books that we used to read when we were younger in school. A couple of them books. But no, thank you so much for being a part of the show today. And I hope you all the best. Like I said, I'm going to be on there getting those couple of those t-shirts that are real nice. I'm gonna act like I can be a Sunday school teacher or something. I can be a teacher for a little something.
It's so funny. I forgot to say this. You asked about joy in the classroom. So one thing that I had incorporated about maybe 2015, 2014 is wearing yellow. So yellow and blue is one of my favorite colors. So on Monday, I decided on Monday, I said teachers wear yellow on Monday. So every Monday for the school year, I wear yellow, whether it's like a hair accessory, a t-shirt, shoes, any kind of yellow object. And it helped me because once you are not going to be mad at somebody wearing yellow, right? You're going to smile because they're wearing yellow. Like, they're wearing yellow. You're like, oh, you're so cute. Yellow. You mad at them, but you're like, wow, they're wearing yellow. So that was the one idea behind it. And the other idea behind it, when you wear yellow, it just brings out like an aura. You just want to smile all day and have the joy all day. So that's one thing that I do every year is I wear yellow on Monday. And I encourage other teachers to do that as well. Wear
or something similar to bring them joy.
Whatever you can do to bring you joy within this profession, you have to do it and do a lot of it.
Look, you couldn't have said that. No, thank you so much again for what you do. Robert just said to say thank you for your service.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you so much, and you have a good rest of your evening. And I forgot to ask one thing: what does Women's History Month mean to you?
Women's History Month means to me, it's like just women networking, getting together, showing what they can do and what we have done for over the years, and just being positive. Like the reason why I had to ask you to switch the time is because I was invited to a women's networking event. And I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do these two things at the same time? And I was like, but I really want to go because they were doing something for Women's History Month. And I want to network with other Black entrepreneurs, women. Right. I was like, I want to go. I got to go. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to go. And I'm like, and then I'm going to leave. And I'm like, it's getting so good. I want to stay. And it was so good to see all these Black women in the building. It was amazing. And I was like, this is where I want to be. This is life. This is what I want to do. And however we can inspire us to feel good about ourselves and just work together without any cattiness, without any drama, without any jealousy. Let's do it.
That's it. That's so true. That's what this show is about, just giving different platforms. Y'all come out here and tell me what y'all did. How did y'all do it? How to work through your journey. How did you work through your own journey? Because a lot of people are out there searching and wanting to know how I can do just that. How can I self-publish my own book? You made it sound so, okay, if she did it, then I can do it, and so it's so inspiring. And the fact that you're in the classroom every day inspiring our kids, again, I thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I received the thanks. Thank you, Robert. I received your thanks as well. Thank you so much. You don't know what this has done for my night. I'm like excited.
That's what it's about. Well, you have a great evening.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. I know it was a little bit later, but we had a great show. Tiffany is doing great things, and go check out the website below. It has all of her information, where you can check her out, where you can purchase everything. Also, her social media has information. So if you want to reach her out on Facebook, on Instagram, Twitter, I hooked you up. I got you all her information. And check out her. I don't want to say it without reading it. Avion. I don't know the whole name right now, but check out her website. It's on there, and I can barely see in my glasses. Check out her website. She got some nice t-shirts, y'all. So check them out. I already got my eye on like 2 of them. So you guys have a wonderful evening. I appreciate your participation doing Women's History Month. All these females, men. I'm gonna bring some more men back. It was Women's History Month, so I've been honoring the women today this month. So you guys have a wonderful evening and be blessed.